right now.
All right, so the deal is this. WWE came out with their top 50 of all time. And, a lot of people think it's ridiculous, including me. So what I did was I took only the 50 wrestlers that WWE has on their list, and I rearranged it to create my own top 50. And what I basically am going to do is show everyone, to me, why WWE is way off on how they came up with it. What I did find funny are the following people that wrestled in WWE that I personally think should have been in the top 50 of all time.
Well, how are we going to do this at first? We're going to raffle off quickly the 50 names that are currently on there. And...
Well, no, I could tell you who WWE had for 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll tell you where I rank those people.
Well, I'll even tell you if they shouldn't even be on there, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well,
let's do it then. So
I want to give a call. Let me give some names that didn't make WWE top 50 that I think should have. Okay, Captain Lou Albano. This is just my opinion. Arn Anderson, Kerry Von Erich, Goldberg, Bobby Heenan, Ernie the Cat Ladd, Rick Martel, Pedro Morales, Magnificent Morocco.
Wow, did he make it?
Didn't make it.
Warrior didn't make it, right?
Warrior didn't make it. He's on my list though. Paul Orndorff, Ken Patera, Antonio Rocca, George the Animal Steel, Ultimate Warrior, Jesse Ventura, Antonio Inoki, Mil Mascaris, Ray the Crippler Stevens, Johnny Valentine, and Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Well, none of those guys made it, huh?
None of those guys made their top 50.
Wow, Don Morocco, Ultimate Warrior, and Lou Albano didn't make it. Wow.
Kev, I'm convinced that Don Morocco fucked WWE in some way. He
should have been on tonight.
Not only should he have been on tonight, but he's in the WWE Hall of Fame, and he wasn't even listed on. Remember that top 10 of the greatest Intercontinental Champions, top 20?
Yeah, what did he do? And Paul Orndorff too didn't make the cut. That's unbelievable to me that those guys, and they're in the Hall of Fame. Maybe they're not playing ball, But yeah, Don Morocco has not been seen in years at WWE.
Ted DiBiase's in their top 50.
Oh, please.
I mean, you think of the names. Freddie Blassie's in their top 50, which I have no problem with. But how do you put Freddie Blassie in the top 50 and not put Lou Albano?
Especially when Lou Albano really brought mainstream publicity. He brought Cyndi Lauper into the game.
Yep.
I mean, he got the deal with a cartoon show with his friendship with guys in NBC. I mean, I don't know. Once again, it's over the years, it's who sticks around and who stays friends. Obviously, Rocky Johnson didn't make the cut either.
No, Rocky Johnson didn't make the cut either.
Yeah, also a great Intercontinental champion.
Well,
or taking champion.
Maybe Rocky Johnson didn't escape me. I'm looking down the list. I don't see Rocky Johnson. I don't remember
ranking him. He didn't make it. No. He was very over.
All right, well, let's get into it.
Well, did Atlas make the list?
Tony Atlas did not make the list, from what I remember.
Wow.
Yep. All right. Well, WWE has now. We're talking 70 years of.
Let me just ask you this. Here's a weird one, but for some reason, Tiger Mask, did he make the list?
Tiger Mask did not make the list.
Wow. Jeez.
Yep.
Dynamite Kid?
Dynamite Kid did not make the list.
Wow. Jesus Christ.
You want to know something? I actually had him on my omitted list, and I took him off.
Dynamite Kid doesn't make the list? Jesus.
Nope.
Most innovative guy of all time.
Yeah, some people in the chat room, the names I just read are names that I felt should have been on the list.
Right, I agree. By the way, I agree with Anthony on all those names.
Yeah, so anyway, here's what you people are about to hear is what WWE has.
What did make the list.
Yeah, who did make the list.
Yeah, this is their version of officially who made the list, so there's no confusion.
Yeah, and then after I tell you where they rank with WWE, I'm going to tell you where I rank these people, which people get. And I actually, believe me, I thought about this long and hard, and I think once people understand why I rank people the way I did, because Undertaker's not even in my top 10. So
you say he's in my top 5. Actually.
Yeah. So all right. So let's get into it.
Yeah, let's go.
In the 70 years of WWE doing business, going back to the early days, they rank for number 1 as the greatest wrestler of all time to be Shawn Michaels.
So hello, Shawn Michaels, Hall of Fame, 2011 headliner.
Yep.
Telltale sign.
You know where I rank?
There you go.
You know where I rank Shawn Michaels?
Yeah.
I ranked him number 8.
Okay. Go ahead. Well, let's go 10 at a time. Top 10 first.
Okay. Shawn Michaels, they have as number 1. Number 2, The Undertaker.
Okay.
Number 3, Steve Austin.
Okay.
Number 4, Bret Hart.
Okay.
Number 5, The Rock.
Fine.
Number 6, Harley Race. 7, Ricky Steamboat.
Yes.
8, Andre the Giant.
Of course.
This one's funny. Number 9, Rey Mysterio.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That's outrageous. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, I see where this is going.
And number 10, Roddy Piper. So they ranked Mysterio better than Roddy Piper.
Jeez.
All right. That's their top.
This is obviously not I don't know if this is a popularity contest. It's obviously not a wrestling skills contest.
Yep.
Well, if it was, I guess Harley Race should finish in the top 10. But if Harley Race finishes over Dusty Rhodes.
It's unbelievable, right?
Okay, I'm going to assume Dusty's on this list, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Dusty's on the list.
Okay. Yeah.
I actually rated Dusty Rhodes.
Is Superstar Billy Graham on this list?
Yes, he is.
All right, thank God.
I have
I didn't know it was political.
But you want to hear my top 10?
Yeah, now give us your top 10.
All right. Now, I'm going to tell everybody my number 1, and I'm going to tell you the reason why I picked this person. And, Kev, if you disagree with me, you can tell me. But let me just explain why I picked this person as number 1.
Well, go from 10, then just do this, build it up.
All right, I'll go from 10 to number 1. All right?
Okay.
Now, you remember the names that I just said, okay?
Yeah.
Here's my top 10. Number 10, Nick Bockwinkel. Number 9, Andre the Giant. Number 8, Shawn Michaels. Number 7, Ricky Steamboat. Number 6, Harley Race. Number 5, Steve Austin.
Right.
Number 4, Ric Flair.
Okay.
They have Ric Flair number 18, Kev. All right. All right. My list, he's number 4.
Yeah.
Number 3, Lou Thez.
Yeah.
Number 2, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Number 1, Bruno Sammartino.
Wow, a lot of people are not going to agree with you on that, including myself.
Let me tell you the reason why I picked Bruno Sammartino as number 1. And I knew this back in the day because Georgianne was the official person that ran his fan club, so I knew a lot of stuff about Bruno. She gave me the book too. Bruno Sammartino main evented and sold out Madison Square Garden 187 times.
Well, is Bruno on their list at all?
Yeah, Bruno's on their list. Bruno is ranked, let me see. Bruno is ranked on their list number 24.
Wow.
All right. So, I don't, again.
Ric Flair is really 8 deep.
Yeah, Ric Flair is 8
deep. They're not happy about that non-retirement, huh?
Yep. So
you can imagine him seeing that, flipping the F out, I guarantee you, because Rick takes those things seriously.
Look, I remember there was a show. Anybody Googles it, you'll find it. There was a show that used to air in the 70s, the early 70s, called Greatest Sports Legends.
With Tom Seaver.
Yes, with Tom Seaver. It hasn't been on television.
Tom Seaver hosted it.
Yeah, it hasn't been on TV in probably over a decade.
30 years.
Yeah. And I remember they interviewed people like Hank Aaron, they interviewed Muhammad Ali, Roger Maris, Joe Frazier. They also interviewed Bruno Sammartino. And he was the WWF champion at the time. Bruno Sammartino was accepted in the sports world and as the WWF champion. He brought legitimacy to that belt. And like I just said, they had him as one of the greatest sports legends on that television show. No other wrestler ever made that.
I remember they showed, I had a videotape of it years ago. I traded tapes with somebody. He gave me a best of WWF at the time, and it was all 70s stuff. And that episode with Tom Seaver was on. If you remember, Tom Seaver was at his peak with the Mets back then.
Yep. And
they just, Tom Seaver was such a big star in the town, they gave him his own show to host. And Tom was walking around Bruno's estate. We'll call it an estate, but his home, his backyard. And Bruno actually worked out in front of Tom. Do you remember that? He was showing Tom his workout regimen.
Yeah. So,
and he was showing with the hand grip and everything. He was showing Tom how to build up his forearms.
Chop wood. He did all.
Chop wood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good jogging. He was. Tom was.
No, we just lost Kev. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and actually, I got to tell you, my phone is dying.
Is it? That's probably the reason why we got disconnected.
I'm gonna have to dip out here.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, well, I have to finish it up because my other phone's not charged.
All right, so you know what? So next week we'll do your list.
I will do my list next week, and we're well past 1:30, so we had quite a run on this night.
Okay.
So I got 40 seconds left on this phone. Just
all right.
Good show tonight. Definitely enjoyed it. I'm sorry for the rest. And I will talk to you tomorrow for that reminder for those things to
Yes,
mail out.
you got it.
All right?
Take care, my friend.
All right, man. Good night.
All right, bye-bye. All right, everybody. I thought it was my computer was on the fritz, but Kev's phone just pretty much died. So I'm going to get into the rest of this on my own. So, look, I want people in the chat room to definitely email me, WrestleCast@AOL.com, and I will be more than happy to get into some of your comments next week. But I got to be totally honest with you. I ranked Hulk Hogan number 2 because I grew up in the 80s. And Hogan, as much as we have criticized him in recent years, Hogan, put it this way, Bruno legitimized the belt. Hogan brought the belt to mainstream. And if those two individuals didn't do what they did, there would be no Steve Austin. There would be no Rock. Wrestling would probably still be cartoonish. And I don't mean cartoonish. I mean more like a circus act. So you can't take away, what history gave us. Look, Babe Ruth, like I said before, could Babe Ruth hit home runs if he was in this era based on the pitching that we have now? People might say, oh, the pitching sucked in the 20s and the 30s. So Babe Ruth, did better at that time. The point is that Bruno Sammartino had that belt for 7 years. All right. He lost the title to Pedro Morales, and then he regained it for a little while and then lost it to superstar Billy Graham. That man main evented Madison Square Garden 187 times. All right. And like I said, the mainstream sports world welcomed Bruno and his WWF title with open arms. And to me, look, Luthez was probably an even greater wrestler than Bruno, but Luthez wasn't mainstream enough. So to me, Bruno is number 1. Hogan is number 2, like I said. Luthez is number 3. Ric Flair is number 4 to me. I personally think Ric Flair did more for wrestling than Steve Austin. And for people that are going to ask me why isn't The Rock on my list, well, you know what? I throw out, I shouldn't say that. Rock is on my list, but the reason why The Rock is not on my top 10 is because I don't include Rocky Maivia. All right? So 1995, you could throw out. Yeah, we had 1996, 97, but The Rock really peaked more towards 98, 99, 2000. Then they had the feud with Hogan. So he had like a 5-6 year run that he was on top. But you got to remember The Rock also. The Rock was a lot of catchphrases. It was the people's elbow. Yes, he main evented. Yes, he headlined. But, you look back at The Rock's career, personally, I don't think The Rock, let me say it like this. You think of the top 10 that I just gave, and I want people to chat room. I challenge you now. I want someone in the chat room to tell me of this top 10, which wrestler would you say did less than The Rock, okay? Remember my top 10, okay? Nick Bockwinkel, Andre the Giant, Shawn Michaels, Ricky Steamboat, Harley Race, Steve Austin, Ric Flair, Luthez, Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino. You think of that top 10, you tell me why The Rock should be higher than any of those guys I just mentioned. WWE has The Rock at number 5. WWE has Bret Hart at number 4. I have Bret Hart as number 11. Do you think Bret Hart did more than any of the guys that I just mentioned? I don't think so. So let's go a little bit further, okay? And here's what's even worse, people. WWE has Rey Mysterio Jr. at number 9. They have Roddy Piper at number 10. Yes, it's close. But how the fuck could WWE try to convince us that Rey Mysterio Jr. did more for WWE and is higher than Roddy Piper? Think about that. That is absolutely fucking ridiculous. All right? So now let's get into, and I'm going to say something tonight that's going to be very controversial. I don't want anybody to really take offense by it. I hope you can understand the reason why I'm going to say it, and it's going to be coming up momentarily, okay? I'm going to now read you WWE 11 through 20, and I'm going to give you my 11 through 20, all right? WWE has for number 11, Eddie Guerrero. Triple H is number 12. Gorgeous George, number 13. Randy Savage, 14. Kurt Hennig, 15. John Cena, 16. Ric Flair, 17. Dusty Rhodes, 18. Yes, they feel Kurt Hennig did more for this business than Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes, people. All right? And like I said, yeah, you know, but look, this is bullshit, in my opinion. This is why I wanted to talk about it, all right? But let's go further. Number 19, Edge. Number 20, Jerry the King Lawler. They actually have Jerry the King. Look, I'm a fan of Edge. You know that, people. But let's be realistic. They have Jerry the King Lawler, Edge, and Kurt Hennig higher than Lou Thesz, Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino, Terry Funk. Okay? That's how ridiculous it is. Just to give you an idea, people, they have Rey Mysterio as number 9. On my list, Rey Mysterio is number 40. Roddy Piper on their list is number 10. Number 10. On my list, Roddy Piper is number 25. Eddie Guerrero on their list is number 11. Eddie Guerrero on my list is number 33. Yes, Rey Mysterio is ahead of John Cena, Shayam. But again, Eddie Guerrero is number 11 on their list. Eddie Guerrero is number 33 on my list, people. And I want to stick to Eddie Guerrero for a minute. And I hope people understand why I'm going to say this. I thought long and hard if I should say this or not, but I'm going to say it because that's the way I am. And I hope people don't get offended by it. But let's look at Eddie Guerrero like this, okay? WWE is trying to tell us that Eddie Guerrero did more for wrestling as far as WWE in his career than Triple H, Gorgeous George, Randy Savage, Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Lou Thesz, Terry Funk, Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino. Should I keep going? I mean, you think of Buddy Rogers, Gorilla Monsoon. You think of, Gorilla Monsoon. Yeah, I don't think Gorilla Monsoon really. But the names I just mentioned, do you really think Eddie Guerrero did more than those guys? Even Hogan, just strictly Hogan. Look, Eddie Guerrero definitely deserves the top 50. Don't get me wrong. Eddie Guerrero was very, very important for this generation. All right? But I'm going to say it. I hope people don't get offended. But my honest opinion, the reason why Eddie Guerrero is ranked number 11 is because he's dead. That's my honest opinion. Remember how I've said over the last couple of years that as when a wrestler dies, it could be a wrestler that's not as, big of a star, but if he's well liked as the years go by, his resume seems to inflate. That their worthiness of being a heavyweight champion inflates. The perfect example is Owen Hart. All right, Owen Hart. Look, I loved Owen Hart as a wrestler. It broke my heart when the guy died. We all liked Owen Hart for the most part. But let's be honest. Would Owen Hart be a heavyweight champion? Possibly. At the time, before Owen Hart passed away, did we say at the time, oh, he's future heavyweight champion? I'm telling you, most of the people I talked to, I don't remember anybody really saying, oh, Owen Hart's going to be a heavyweight champion. It wasn't even, for the most part, considered. But as the years go by and the years go by, all of a sudden, yeah, Owen Hart could have main evented. Owen Hart could have did this. Owen Hart could have did it. He could have very well been. All right. And Owen Hart was awesome. But what I'm saying is that when someone is very well liked and they're deceased, then they seem to get inflated. In my honest opinion, That's why, to me, Eddie Guerrero is number 33 on my list, not number 11. I personally feel that there's 32 people that did more for wrestling than Eddie Guerrero. And look, that's not taking away from Eddie Guerrero. You got to look at Eddie Guerrero's run and look at the other ones. You're trying to tell me Eddie Guerrero did more for wrestling than Hogan? Eddie Guerrero did more for wrestling than Ric Flair? Eddie Guerrero did more for wrestling than Bruno Sammartino? Bruno Sammartino main eventing, sold out the Garden 187 times? I mean, just because tickets might have been $20 back then, and now they're $100, $200, doesn't matter. All right, so anyway. Let's keep this going a little bit. So here is my 11 to 20, in case people are curious. Number 11, Bret the Hitman Hart. Number 12, Macho Man Randy Savage. Number 3, Buddy Rogers. I'm sorry. Number 11, Bret Hart. Number 12, Randy Savage. Number 13, Buddy Rogers. Number 14, The Undertaker. All right. So now people were wondering, WWE had The Undertaker as number 2. I have The Undertaker as number 14. And the reason why I have The Undertaker as number 14, look at it like this, people. Name me one person that you think The Undertaker did more for as far as wrestling. You think The Undertaker did more for Macho Man than Macho Man Randy Savage? To me, The Undertaker is an attraction. The Undertaker had awesome matches with Shawn Michaels. He's had awesome matches, but it takes two to tango. All right? Yes, Rey Mysterio is listed above the... No, Rey's listed above The Undertaker. No. See, Ben... Come on, Ben. Don't make me start explaining this. WWE has their top 50. I have my top 50. All right? They have The Undertaker at number 2. They have Rey Mysterio at number 9. All right? On my list, though, I have The Undertaker at number 14 instead of number 2. Get it? So, anyway, like I said, The Undertaker on my list is number 14 because, in my opinion, Buddy Rogers, Macho Man, Bret Hart, Nick Bockwinkel, Andre the Giant, Shawn Michaels, Ricky Steamboat, Harley Race, Steve Austin, Ric Flair, Lou Thesz, Hulk Hogan, and Bruno Sammartino, all, to me, have a much stronger resume than The Undertaker. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with me. And you know what? Look, if you're a newer wrestling fan or if you're a younger wrestling fan, I have no problem if you feel The Undertaker is number 1 or number 2 or number 3. All right? But this is WWE's attempt to rewrite history because WWE is taking some of the most important names in wrestling history, and it's ridiculous, people. They actually have... Look, I was a big fan of Mr. Perfect, people. All right? Mr. Perfect. You're trying to tell me on WWE's list that Mr. Perfect did more for wrestling than Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Lou Thesz, Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino? Give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect. We all, for the most part, loved his career. I don't remember anybody ever thinking at the time that, maybe he could be heavyweight champion. He was IC champ. We all liked him. We all thought he was great. But I'm sorry, people. He didn't do more for wrestling than those people I just mentioned. All right? So let's speed this up a little bit. So I just gave you 11 to 20. Let me give you my 11 to 20. All right? Because I know we stopped a little bit. Number 11, Bret Hart. Number 12, Macho Man. Number 13, Buddy Rogers. Number 14, The Undertaker. Number 15, The Fabulous Moolah. Number 16, Chris Jericho. Number 17, Terry Funk. Number 18, Dory Funk. Number 19, Dusty Rhodes. Number 20, Jack Briscoe. That's my 11 to 20. WWE's 21 to 25. This is probably the most ridiculous of them all, people. Number 21, Lou Thesz. Number 22, Terry Funk. Number 23, Hulk Hogan. Number 24, Bruno Sammartino. Number 25, Chris Jericho. The most ridiculous one of them all is number 26. Number 26, Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. They are trying to tell us that the $1 Million Man did more or was a bigger superstar than the Fabulous Moolah, Freddie Blassie, Pat Patterson, Mick Foley, Buddy Rogers, Gorilla Monsoon, Superstar Billy Graham, Jake the Snake Roberts, Jack Briscoe, Nick Bockwinkel, Bob Backlund, Ravishing Rick Rude, and Killer Kowalski. Okay? They're actually trying to tell us that the $1 Million Man did more or is more important. Please, people. That's how ridiculous it is. All right? So there's their list from, let's see, what did we just say? We went to, let's see. We went up to, did I tell you 29 and 30? No, we didn't. I stopped at Ted DiBiase. Ted DiBiase's 26. Number 27 is a Fabulous Moolah. 28 is Freddie Blassie. 29 is Randy Orton. Number 30 is Pat Patterson. People, I don't care if you're a huge Randy Orton fan. You look at Randy Orton's career. You're trying to tell me, WWE, that Randy Orton is a bigger superstar in history than Jimmy Snuka, than Kurt Angle, Gorilla Monsoon, Buddy Rogers, Junkyard Dog, Superstar Billy Graham, Jake the Snake Roberts, Jack Briscoe, Sergeant Slaughter, Nick Bockwinkel, Dory Funk Jr., Bob Backlund, Rick Rude, Batista, and Killer Kowalski. Randy Orton, people. Randy fucking Orton. Give me a fucking break. All right, so we're almost done. So we did their top 30 so far. Here's my number 20 to number 30. You ready? Number 30, Ravishing Rick Rude. Number 31, Gorgeous George. Number 30, Ravishing Rick Rude. Number 29, Kurt Angle. Number 28, John Cena. Number 27, Killer Kowalski. They have Killer Kowalski at number 50, people. Number 26, Jimmy Snuka. 25, Roddy Piper. Number 24, Superstar Billy Graham. Number 23, Bob Backlund. Number 22, The Rock. Number 21, Triple H. Number 20, Jack Briscoe. Here's WWE's 31 to 50. Because honestly, people, 31 to 50, whatever. I just feel that Batista shouldn't be on this list. I know Kev feels differently, but I just feel Batista doesn't belong on this list. Anyway, let me just get into the rest of these numbers and we'll pretty much wrap it up. WWE has the Iron Sheik at number 31. Jimmy Snuka, 32. Mick Foley, 33. Kurt Angle, 34. Buddy Rogers, 35. Gorilla Monsoon, 36. 37 is the Junkyard Dog. Superstar Billy Graham is number 38. Jake the Snake Roberts is 39. Big Show is 40. Jack Briscoe, 41. Sergeant Slaughter, 42. Kane. Kane is on this list, people. How the fuck? Look, Kane had a long career. Don't get me wrong. Why is Kane on this list? Seriously. Why is Kane on this list? But anyway, WWE's list, I continue. Number 44, Nick Bockwinkel. Yes, people, they're trying to tell us that, Kane did more for wrestling than Bob Backlund, Rick Rude, Batista. Well, not Batista, Killer Kowalski. Anyway, number 44, Nick Bockwinkel. Number 45, Jeff Hardy. Number 46, Dory Funk. Number 47, Bob Backlund. 48, Rick Rude. 49, Batista. Number 50, Killer Kowalski. That's theirs. So I want to wrap this up by giving you my list. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from 50 down. So Bobo Brazil, another one, good one that's not on there. But anyway, let me give you mine. All right, and again, I would have never put Ted DiBiase on my list. I would have never put Kane on my list. I know, yeah, Kane doing more than Bob Backlund. Unfucking believable, right? Oh, God. Anyway, just to summarize this, to make it more sense, let me give you my list. All right. And then we got a couple other wrestling tidbits, and we're going to call it a night. I'm going to go from number 50 down, and this is my list. This is Don Tony's list, and I think my list is superior. Number 50, Ted DiBiase, because you shouldn't even be on this fucking list. Number 49, Kane, because you shouldn't be on this fucking list. Number 48, because as much as I love the Junkyard Dog, you shouldn't be on this list. Number 47, The Big Show, you shouldn't be on this list. Number 46, The Iron Sheik. Number 45, Randy Orton. 44, Gorilla Monsoon. 43, Sergeant Slaughter. 42, Batista. 41, Jeff Hardy. Number 40, Rey Mysterio Jr. Number 39, Pat Patterson. Number 38, Mr. Perfect. Number 37, Edge. Number 36, Jerry Lawler. 35, Classy Freddie Blassie. 34, Mick Foley. 33, Eddie Guerrero. 32, Jake the Snake Roberts. And actually, before I go any further, I want to just stick with Eddie because obviously we just unfortunately had the sad anniversary of his passing. Let's just wrap this up with one simple thing. I have Eddie Guerrero at number 33, which I think a lot of people are going to question. When I read these 32 other wrestlers, I think it's pretty safe to say there is not one person on this list that you could tell me, oh no, Eddie is a bigger superstar than in the whole body of work. All right? 30, Jake the Snake Roberts, Rick Rude, Gorgeous George, Kurt Angle, John Cena, Killer Kowalski, Jimmy Snuka, Roddy Piper, Superstar Billy Graham, Bob Backlund, The Rock, Triple H, Jack Briscoe, Dusty Rhodes, Dory Funk Jr., Terry Funk, Chris Jericho, Fabulous Moolah, The Undertaker, Nature Boy Buddy Rogers, Macho Man Randy Savage, Bret the Hitman Hart, Nick Bockwinkel, Andre the Giant, Shawn Michaels, Ricky Steamboat, Harley Race, Steve Austin, Ric Flair, Lou Thesz, Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino. There is not one person of those 32 that you could tell me that Eddie Guerrero should be above. That's why, honestly, people, Eddie's ranked number, whatever it is on the WWE's list, he's, number 11? Because he's passed away.